This conference will now be recorded.
So in this session, we are going to discuss about MRP. Okay, and since this topic is relevant to both MM as well as SD, I involved all of you to be in this session because number one, MRP is a topic which actually MRP, if you talk about a particular topic, this is normally covered in PP. It is part of PP module in SAP, but it has a very tight integration with MM and SD. Okay, I'll tell you how. So what happens is normally this MRP is executed in the PP module based on the like if let's assume there is a finished good company, there is a manufacturing company who is manufacturing the finished goods. Now in order to manufacture this finished goods, there is requirement of raw material. So based on how much finished goods to manufacture, we need to execute the MRP run to identify which raw materials are required, which how much quantity on what date. Right, so ultimately it comes to MM because MM is responsible to get those materials from outside. Okay, so it will come to MM has to create the purchase requisitions, purchase orders, so that the material can be brought from outside. Similarly, when it comes to SD, let's assume now this SD which is being manufactured by the company, this SD ultimately needs to be sold to the customer. So whenever we are getting the sales orders from the customers, we need to identify whether the required quantity that we need to deliver to the customer, is it available in our stock or not? If it is not available in the stock, we need to find out like how many days it will take us to manufacture it. And again, while manufacturing, what are the different raw material requirements and whether those raw materials exist in our premises or it needs to be procured from outside. So ultimately, it is a very tight integration between MM, SD, and PP, and maybe we can say most of the other logistics modules also. But these are the three main important modules where MRP plays a very important role. So, what do you understand by MRP, first of all? What is your understanding on MRP?
MRP, Vikram, is basically material resource planning. It ensures the availability of materials on time.
Okay.
Okay, and so what happens? There's a material, and once the material reaches, let's say we have maintained a point called reorder point. So once the material goes beyond that point, your approval process is triggered. Not approval, I mean procurement proposal is triggered.
Okay.
To ensure that the material is available on time.
Correct. So MRP stands for Material Requirement Planning. If you read this term properly, what it is saying is material requirement and then planning. What do you mean by material requirement? Material requirement means if you are a company and if you are selling the goods to the customers, in that case, on day-to-day basis, you have a requirement of every material and you have the requirement of the raw material. Right? So in order to ensure that there is always sufficient quantity available in the stock so that you are able to fulfill the customer orders on time, right? So material requirement planning means it is a tool from SAP. If I talk from the SAP point of view, this is a tool provided by SAP to plan the material requirement. So it is just a simple definition which you can remember, which is easy to remember. So it is a tool which is provided by SAP to plan the material requirement. Okay, what is a material requirement planning? It is a tool which allows you to plan the material requirement. Now, how are you going to plan the material requirement? How will you know how much quantity is required, on what date required, and what time required? Right. So as I told you, as Saurav also told, that it ensures that there is always right material available at right place on right time or at right time. Okay, what does it mean? The right material. If a customer is asking you for material A, definitely we cannot deliver the material B. It should not happen that we have sufficient stock, overstock of material B, and we don't have any stock of material A. So we always want to make sure that each and every material is available on time. Second is at the right place. So it should not happen that I got the material, but it is available in my another plant. And in order to bring that material from one plant to another plant, I will take 2 additional days, which means I may not be able to deliver the material on time to my customer. And obviously the last one is at the right time. So it should not be like, okay, I given the order to the vendor, but this material can be only available after 7 days. Again, you are losing the business. So see, if I give you the overall idea, any company, irrespective of whether you are a manufacturing company or you are a distribution company, if you are dealing with the physical goods, then it is very important for you to maintain the sufficient stock to ensure that your customers' orders are getting delivered on time. What will happen if the customer orders are not getting delivered on time? Number one, you will lose the confidence from the customer. So let's say customer has given you the order, you accepted the order and you confirmed that I'll be delivering this material on this particular date. Now, due to some problem, due to some because you have not planned your materials properly, it may happen that you delay that material by 2, 7, maybe 10 days. In that case, if that is the kind of you are following throughout your customer orders, then customer will lose the confidence. Customer will always get that impression that you don't deliver the material on time, and the customer will no longer be just a minute. Customer will not be having much trust on you, and he will see for another vendors who can provide him those materials. So at any point in time, you wanted to ensure that if you got the order from the customer, there is sufficient material available due to which you are able to deliver the material to the customer on time. Right? That is a basic requirement. That is the reason why MRP is required. Now let's take another simple example. You are into manufacturing of big machines. Okay? And in order to manufacture these big machines, you need lot of raw materials. So let's say you got a very big order from the customer. Okay, you got a very big order from the customer. You executed the MRP. Okay, and you found out that most of the materials either are available in the stock, or some of the materials which are not available in the stock will be delivered as per the time required by the customer. But you forgot to plan for a particular material. Maybe it is a very small material. Let's take example of screws or consumables or anything. So let's assume that everything is available. Okay, everything is available. All the materials required are available. But because you have not planned properly, small value materials are not available, and due to which there is a delay of 2 to 3 days. So that is definitely the loss to the business, right? And that is the reason this has to be taken very seriously in the companies. And you can understand that when you are working in the bigger companies, definitely managing these things manually to keep a track of how much material is available, how much is required, it is very difficult. And that is the reason there is a need of this tool which helps you to perform your planning for all the materials at the same time rather than planning each and every material independently. Okay, so MRP is a tool provided by SAP which helps you in material requirement planning. It ensures that there is always the right material available at the right time and at the right place. Okay, these are very important things that you should understand. Now, how this MRP works in SAP system? What exactly are the features of MRP? Let's take an example. Let's say you got an order from the customer. Okay, there are, let's say, 10 sales orders. So sales order number 1, I'm talking about a single material here. So I got the order of 10 units. There is another sales order. Okay, not only the quantity is important, even the delivery date is also important. So 10 units and delivery date is, let's say, 10th of October. 20th of October. There is another sales order which is for 20 units, and this needs to be delivered on, let's say, 25th of October. Okay. There is a stock which is already available. The stock availability is as of now 15 units. Okay, and there are some purchase orders which you already created. So there is a PO which is created, PO1, and this PO is created for 15 quantity, 15 units, which will be delivered. For PO, the delivery date is, let's assume, 22nd of October. Okay, let's say this is a position currently. Currently, I have stock of 15 units. I have created a PO for 15 units, and the material is availability date is 22nd of October, which means I'll be getting this material on 22nd. So looking at this information, what do you think? Will I be able to deliver the material to my customer who has given me sales order number 1 and sales order number 2 on time, or I will not be able to deliver? Looking at this current position, do you feel that I'll be able to deliver the material on time?
No.
No or yes?
No. No. No.
No. Why no?
It will be stocked out soon.
Sorry?
No, it will be stocked out soon, right?
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
You will be stocked out soon. There won't be enough to supply, right?
No, my question is, I have these 2 sales orders and I want to deliver the material to these customers. To first customer, I want to do the delivery on 28th, and to second customer, I want to deliver on 25th of October. Currently, my position is I have 15 units in my stock. 15 units I already created a PO, and this 15 units I'm expecting on 22nd of October. So looking at this position, I'm asking, okay, let's talk about one by one. Will I be able to deliver this sales order?
Yes, we can.
For sales order 1, you will deliver, Vikram, because you have 15 on hand. But sales order 2, you can't deliver till you get it on 22nd.
Vikram, for sales order 2 also you will be able to deliver because we have 20. Okay. You have at present you have 15 units. So you will be selling 10 units on 20th. So 5 units will be remaining. And on 22nd you will get 15. So 15 to 5, 20. So you will be well positioned to deliver it on 22nd.
Exactly. So looking at this information, what I can understand is, for sales order 1, if I want to deliver on 20th of October, and since there is no other demand, definitely I can consume whatever available quantity is in stock. So I can take 10 from here and I can deliver this on 20th of October. There is no problem. Now, once I deliver this, I'll be left with 5 units. And on 22nd of October, I am expecting 15 units to arrive via this PO. Okay, so 5 plus 15 will become 20, and this 20, whether I'll be able to deliver against sales order 2, which is to be delivered on 25th? Definitely yes. Because looking at this planning information, I can see by 22nd of October, I will be having 20 units in the stock, and this 20 units I can definitely deliver on 25th of October. Correct? You understood or not?
Yes, sir. Logically, order fulfillment should be okay, but considering our quality and other practical aspects, it's not. But SAP point of view, logically, both the orders can be fulfilled.
Exactly. So Nagesh, what we are talking about is planning. At the time of planning, we don't know what would be the quality and all. When we are talking about the planning, we are just considering what is available, what is about to come, and what we need to deliver.
Yes.
So looking at that information, we are doing the calculation whether the sufficient material is available or not. Now let's assume there is the third sales order. Okay, and this third sales order is for 25 units. Okay, and delivery date which customer is looking for, let's say, is 30th of October. Now in this case, what will happen is, first of all, do you think that the system will allow you to create the sales order?
Yes, it will allow us to create the sales order.
It will allow you to create the sales order. Okay, so sales order will be created, but where I can see whether this 25 units can be delivered on time or not. How can I confirm the customer that I'll be able to deliver this 25 units or not?
In schedule and category, we can check whether the confirmed quantity is present or not.
Okay, let me show you this practically. So that is the reason I merged these two sessions so that you understand the integration between SD, MRP and MM all three together. If you just understand from one side, it is difficult. Then MM consultant will only be able to understand from the MM point of view, and it creates a gap between MM and SD. Okay, let's take this example. Let me first go and see what is the stock availability. Okay, MMB is transaction using which I can see what is the stock availability of a particular finish or a particular product. Okay, so it may be FG, it may be raw material, but this is my material. If I want to know what is the total availability for this particular material at this plant, I'll just execute it. Okay, how much quantity it is showing? Comma is dot in our case, so it is showing how much?
100.
I think 100 quantity. Right?
1 lakh?
1 lakh or 100?
I don't know, 1 lakh, I believe.
Yeah,
Comma is not a separator here. I think it is.
This is a separator or this is. Okay, anyways. So let's take this example. Let's assume this is 100, which means we have 100 quantity available for this particular material. Now, if I get the order, if I get the sales order, and let's assume the sales order is, let me take the example. System is too slow today. Are you also facing slowness in the system?
Yes, Vikram, since yesterday.
Okay, even in FI session today it was slow. So let me do one thing. Instead of using the, that is fine. Okay, let's go and try to create a sales order. So I will open a new screen. Let's go to VA01. Okay, and I'm placing the order with order type OR. This is my distribution channel, sales organization division. Okay, I want to sell to this particular customer. Okay, and the material, I need to select trading goods 2, the one that we have just now seen. Okay, and now if I want to sell 150 quantity. Okay, assuming that 100 is available. If it is not, then we will see. So I want to deliver, customer is ordering 150 units of this particular material and he is requesting the delivery on, see by default system is taking today's date. But let's assume system or customer is requesting the delivery on 20th of October. Okay, let's press enter. Now what happens is whenever you are going to create a sales order, okay, this is fine. This is some another question, quotations and all. I'll just click on continue as of now. This is a credit check. I think from SD point of view, we have seen in the last session that system will perform the credit check. If the credit is not available, system will not allow you to create a sales order. Okay, that is exactly what is happening. Currently, system is not allowing me to sell any material to this customer because his credit limit is already exceeded. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to select any other customer, or maybe I need to go and increase the credit limit of this customer. Okay, so let me increase the credit limit of this customer. Okay, so in this credit, I will go to UKM 000. Okay, doesn't need to worry about this. This is SD configuration. Okay, and here I will change the limit. It is set as 10,000. 261,000 is already utilized, so I'm making it a 5 lakh. So now we have sufficient limit available for this customer. Okay, which means we can proceed with this order. So again, I'll go to the sales order. Instead of entering it here, because the credit check is already performed, maybe I'll go back, go to VA01, enter this customer, payment term, Incoterm. Okay, and I will enter the location. Material is this one, and quantity which I'm requesting is 150. And if you want to change the delivery date, I'm changing it to 28th. Okay, let's press enter. This is fine. Just ignore the information messages. Continue. Okay, now you can see credit management error is not appearing. Okay, so what we are worried about here is availability check. So at the time of sales order, whenever you are going to create the sales order, system will perform the availability check. Okay, system will check whether this much quantity you will be able to deliver on this particular date or not. Okay, how can you check the availability check? You can see display availability. You select this line and click on display the availability, or you can click on check the item availability currently. So I'm clicking on this check item availability. System is asking you to provide the plant. System is asking you from which plant are you going to deliver this material. Okay, so there is a plant field here which you can maintain. Even this plant can be automated, even this plant can be defaulted at the time of sales order creation if you maintain the plant in your customer master data. If you go to the customer master data and tell the system that whenever this customer is going to request any material, when customer is going to give you any order, system will by default pick this plant. One is at the customer master data. Second, you can also specify this in the material master data. Even in the material master, you can specify the default plant. So if you have done that, then system will be able to default the plant automatically. Okay, let me enter it manually here. So I'm entering RC01 as a plant. Okay, now system will be able to perform the availability check at this plant. So if I click on availability check, you can see system is able to deliver the material. System is confirming that 150 units should be available on this particular date. Okay, which means this comma is nothing but, it is not a decimal separator, but we have 1 lakh quantity available in our stock. Okay, which means if, let's assume now, if 100 quantity is only available, then what will happen? Then system will be able to confirm how much quantity? Only 100.
100.
We will be able to only confirm the quantity of 100 on this particular date, but just remember, system will also show you second line for 50 units, remaining 50 units, and system will automatically calculate the delivery date. System will automatically calculate when can you deliver this material. Okay, I'll explain you. No need to worry about this at this moment, but just understand, if I create a sales order, the sales order will automatically perform the availability check, and in the availability check, system will be able to determine whether you are going to deliver this quantity to this customer on time or not. Right?
Can we change that to 1,50,000 quantity and check it? I just want to know from where that, from info record, do we get the next quantity to be scheduled or a PO to be raised?
No, that is different. Okay, let me show you. So maybe what I'll do is, instead of changing this particular material, let me create one fresh material so that we are not getting confused with whatever settings are already taken place for this material, right? We don't know how many materials are already used in the quotation, how much materials we already blocked for some other sales orders. So it will create a confusion. What I'll do simply is, I'll create a new material for MRP. Okay, MRP and availability control. So let me say industry sector is mechanical engineering or anything, whatever you want to select. You can select chemical if you want, it is up to you. Material type, I am using trading goods, which is HAWA. Okay, let me press enter. So I want to specify basic data 1, 2, sales, purchasing and all. Okay, which we have done till now. Plant is RC01, storage location S001, sales organization and distribution channel. You need to specify your own. So this is MRP availability check. Base unit of measurement I am keeping as each. Material group you can select whatever you want. It is just a free field which you can select. Okay. Let me press enter. Wherever mandatory I will maintain that information. Okay. In the sales organization one, you have to specify this, which we already discussed. You have to specify the tax classification, whether it is taxable or non-taxable. Okay, and then keep on pressing enter. Item category group, as we discussed, we normally keep it as normal, NORM. Now, one of the very important field, if you want to perform the availability check at the time of sales order creation, is you need to maintain this field. If this field is not maintained, then system will not perform the availability check of this material when you try to create the sales order. Right? This availability check field is mandatory. Okay, so as of now, you can select 01 or 02. I will explain you what is the basic difference between the two. Let me select 01, daily requirements. Okay, let's press enter. Enter. Okay, if you want to enter all this information, you can enter. Gross weight, net weight also you should enter, because otherwise at the time of sales order creation, system will keep on asking you this information. Okay, also I told you you can derive the plant also from here. Okay, you can tell the system that whenever, whenever you want the system to automatically determine the plant at the sales order level, I told you in the material master also there is a field relevant to the default plant. Okay, also MRP, you should enter here MRP type PD. I will talk about what are the other MRP types, but let me select PD as of now. Okay, and then let me go to the default delivering plant, which should be available in the sales organization data. Okay, MRP controller is an important field, so you have to enter this. Okay, you can see default delivering plant. This field is optional, but if you maintain this field here, then system will automatically derive the plant at the time of creation of sales order. So our plant is RC01. Okay, any other information that you need to maintain, you can maintain at the material master level. Okay, accounting one, valuation class is mandatory field. Without valuation class, system will not be able to determine the GL account. And then let me save it. So now what I can do is I can use this newly created material for my MRP and availability control related scenarios. Okay, so first of all, what I'll do, I will ensure that there is some stock available in my system so that it gets verified. So what I'll do, simply I will bring some stock in the system, or maybe even if I'm not able to bring the stock, let me do one thing. Let me directly try to create a sales order for this material. Okay, and let's see what happens. Even if I place the order of 10 units, let's see what the system is proposing. So I'm going to VA01. Okay, customer. These are all mandatory informations which I'm filling. Okay, material in our case is MRP, and I'm creating the order of 10 units, and let's assume the delivery date is 20th. Okay, let me press enter and let's see if the plant is getting determined or not. You can see plant is getting determined. Okay, now system is not asking you plant because we have maintained the plant, default plant at the material master level. Same way, we can maintain at the customer level also. System will give the first priority to customer material info, second priority it will give to the customer, and third priority it will give to the material. Okay, so now if I want to perform the availability check, so let me take you to this level. Let me select this material line and click on check the item availability. You can see system is still confirming the order on 20th of October. Can you tell me how is it possible? Is it correct or wrong? Can I confirm the order even if I don't have the material availability?
Maybe for future date, Vikram, because what will happen, you have created a demand. Okay, now it may go for MRP, and by the time 20th you will have the required amount of stock.
Exactly. That is the reason system is able to confirm the quantity on 28th. What system is doing is system is assuming that if I create if I don't have this material available today, system is going in the background, it is checking that if I create a PO, can I get this material within 2 days? And system is able to get the idea that yes, it is possible, we can get this material within the same day because we have not entered any lead time. We have not entered any lead time, right? We have not entered that it will take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days to get this material from the vendor or not. Right? So what system is assuming? System is assuming that whenever I need this material, I can get this material immediately from market. And that is the reason I'll be able to deliver this material on time. Right? That is the reason system is allowing you to confirm this order. But let's assume if we go in the material master and if we tell the system that in order to get this material, the lead time is 7 days. Okay, then what will happen? Then system will take 7 days from today onwards and it will automatically propose you that delivery cannot be done on the 20th of October, but we can only give the delivery after 7 days. Right? So just remember, confirmed quantity is not only the quantity which is available in the stock. System will allow you to confirm the quantity by making the calculation. It will check what is available in the stock. It will also check if there are any open purchase orders available in the system. It will also verify that even if the purchase order is not created now, but if I create the purchase order now, how much time it will take to receive this material. And based on the item receipt date, system will be able to perform the confirmation. So what we are doing is we are telling the system that we are confirming the customer that we will be delivering this material to you on 20th of October. So if I accept this order, now what will happen in the background is, in the background, system will generate this requirement. Okay, let me just complete this order processing. There are few fields which are mandatory, which I need to enter. Okay, net value, I need to enter the pricing. So I will just enter the VPR4 condition with the pricing. So let's say this much is my total pricing. Okay, let me go back and try to save this order. Now what will happen is system is generating this in the background. System is transferring the requirement. Now can you tell me if I execute the MRP now, what the system will do? If I perform the MRP calculation now, there is a sales order 1 which we created. Okay, what is the sales order number? Just now we created the sales order number 945. So sales order number 945 has been created. What was the quantity? 10 quantity, 10 units. Right? Is there anything available in the stock?
None, zero.
Are there any open POs or PRs?
No.
0 units, right? Which means if I execute the MRP, what will happen? How the MRP calculation is performed? MRP calculation equal to total demand minus stock minus planned receipts. So what is the total demand?
10.
Total demand is 10 as of now. Is there anything in the stock? No, which is 0. Is there any planned receipts? And we have created PO or PR and we are expecting the material will be delivered. That is also not there. So the total requirement is 10 units. Okay, and that is the reason what we normally do on day-to-day basis, based on whatever sales orders we create, based on whatever purchase orders we create, at the end of the day, we execute the MRP so that we know how much quantity we need to buy from outside, how much quantity we need to ensure that it is available in the stock so that we are able to deliver this material on time to the customer. Right? So if I try to execute the MRP, how to execute the MRP? So just remember a transaction code. There is a simple transaction code called as MD01. Okay, this transaction code, what it will do? It will allow you to perform the MRP run for the entire plant. It will not only plan for a particular material, it will allow you to perform the MRP run for all the materials available in this plant. If you don't want to plan all the materials, then you can use MD02. This is another transaction which is for a particular material. So if I want to plan only this material, I want to perform the planning of the material requirement. I have the material requirement of 10 units and I want to ensure that this is available on time so that I can deliver the material to the customer on time. Right? So for that, I have to execute this MRP run, and this MRP run will give me the result that how much quantity would be required. Okay, let me press enter. If you are getting this warning message, let me press another enter, and system will be able to generate the MRP run. Okay, you can see how many materials are planned. One material is planned. Any exceptions? These exceptions will come here. And how are you going to see the result? So this material planning has been completed, but if I want to know what was the result of this planning run, what is the total shortage that I have, so I can go to transaction MD04, which is called as stock requirement list. Whenever you execute the MRP, MRP will give the requirement list. It will tell you how much material is required, which needs to be procured from outside. If you just press enter, you can see system has identified the shortage of 10 units. Okay, how? System is calculating what is available in the stock. System is performing what is the customer order number. And I think there is already something in the planned order. So this is something which is not from our configuration. This is coming from somewhere else. Someone has configured STPO, but normally this will not impact our case. Our case is we have the availability of 0 quantity and we have the requirement of 10 units, which means we are having shortage of 10 units. Okay, don't worry about the second line. We have the shortage of 10 units. Okay, like this MRP works. MRP will consider all the planned receipts and the total demand. Okay, what is the total demand? Can you tell me how will you identify the total demand? What is the calculation logic for total demand? What are the different ways in which you can tell the system that this is my demand? One option we just now seen. What is that?
Sales order, reservations, open sales order, reservations, work orders.
Reservations may not come here, but yes, open sales orders. Another is something called as planned independent requirement. Okay, I'll explain you what is this planned independent requirement. So what happens is, let's assume you are a manufacturing company, okay, and you are planning that how much units I should manufacture for next month to make sure that all the demands for the next month are met. So you are not, it is not like every time you will be doing the MRP run on the sales orders. Sometimes you need to perform the MRP for the entire next month, even if you don't have the sales orders. So in that case, this is PIR, called as Plant Independent Requirements. What we do in this one is we manually go and tell the system that how much quantity are we planning to sell in the coming month. So based on plant independent requirement also, we come to the total demand. Although this is a plant demand, this is not actual demand, but yes, that can also be considered under the demand. So total demand for, you can say FG, or you can say for trading goods, you can determine by open sales orders and plant independent requirements. What about the total demand for raw material?
Purchase order?
Purchase order is not a demand. Purchase order is actually the supply. It is a plant receipt.
Well, we know, right, based on our purchase, how much we have bought. Can't a scheduler calculate on that? A planner can calculate on that?
So you mean to say based on my last month results?
Because I know what I have bought last month, and based on that, I buy and I sell, right? If I'm a trader, so I know that what are the materials I'm buying. If I'm buying a top 10 material, and I should be able to forecast my purchase based on that.
Right. So if you are forecasting, then you will go for plant independent requirements. Forecasting method can be different. You can come up with the plant independent requirements by the sales orders that you have created in the last month, or by the purchase orders you have created in the last month. But that will still remain plant independent requirement, which is forecasting based. When I say total demand for raw material, it depends upon how much FG to be manufactured, right? Raw material is the component that I'm going to use in order to manufacture the finished product. So based on how much demand is there on FG, I will require the raw materials. Right? Are you getting it? If I want to know what is the total demand for raw material, I have not entered this raw material in the sales order. So definitely I cannot go to the sales order and identify how much is the total material requirement. This total demand for raw material is known with open production orders. Are you getting it?
Yes.
You got a sales order from the customer. Based on the sales order, you determined how much FG needs to be manufactured. So system will automatically create a plant production order for this. And based on the plant production order, or maybe even I'll not say production order, based on open plant orders. It is still not converted into production order. I can create the plant orders, and based on the plant orders also, I can identify how much raw material requirement is there. Okay. Same way, how can I determine the plant receipts? Based on the open PR, based on the open purchase orders. What is the third thing? Plant receipts for material procured from outside. How will you calculate it? How will you know how much is the total plant receipts for material procured from outside?
Outstanding goods received?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, there was a disconnection. So I was asking you, how will you know how many plant receipts? How will you identify what is the total plant receipts for in-house manufacturing materials? Based on what?
POs.
STO,
Sorry,
sir, STO,
STO is stock requirement. STO is stock transfer. In-house manufacturing I'm talking about. Planned production orders and actual production orders. Right now, for in-house manufacturing, you are creating production orders. So planned and actual production orders will give you the requirement or will tell you how much you can expect in the coming days in terms of the plant receipts. Is it clear? Are you able to understand this?
Yes, Vikram.
Okay. So let me just give you the overview what we discussed. We discussed that MRP is a tool which allows you to plan the material. Okay, it ensures that there is always the right material available at the right place on the right time. So based on the planned receipts, the available stock, and based on the total demand, system will try to calculate the shortages. Okay, if there are shortages, what system will do? Let me talk about what would be the system behavior when there is any shortages are identified. In case of shortages, what system will do? In case of in-house production and in case of external procurement. So what system will do if it is in-house production? We have executed the MRP and we identified that there is a shortage of 5 SD units. Then what you want the system to do?
Production order.
Either production order or planned order. Normally, production order is converted from the planned order. So in case of in-house production, system will generate planned order which can be converted to production order. Same way, in case of external procurement, what system will do?
Purchase request.
Open PR POs.
Exactly. System will generate PRs, purchase requisition. Okay, so we understood earlier in MM that purchase requisition is normally created by the department who is in need of that material, but most of the purchase requisitions are created by system when you execute the MRP run. Okay, only those materials where there is manual intervention, the team will identify how much is a requirement. Only in those cases, the purchase requisitions will be created by the internal departments, but otherwise, for most of the material requirement, the purchase requisitions are created from the system when you execute the MRP. Okay, so based on the system settings, whatever settings you are determining, system will be able to determine the shortages, and if the shortage is identified, system will either create the planned order or system will automatically create a purchase requisition based on whether this material needs to be procured from outside or it has to be manufactured.
I have a question, Vikram, on that.
Yes.
See, what happens if I minimum stock level, say I have minimum stock level for any item is 100, and if I have a sales order of 80, can I trigger a purchase requisition in that scenario? Also?
Yes, that is also possible. See, what happens is, as I told you, there are multiple MRP types. Based on different MRP types, some of the MRP types are relevant to demand based, and some of the MRP types are relevant to reorder point. So, as you said, safety stock. I want to ensure that always there is 100 units available in my stock. As soon as my stock goes below 100 units, I want the system to generate the shortage. So that is called as reorder point level planning. What we are discussing is demand-based planning.
Okay. So
Both
if
are
I'm
possible.
doing demand-based planning, Vikram, I got it clearly. Now looks like there are options in MRP. So how is this? Because planning is done by the planner, right? The PP model or some other model will be there, I believe.
No, not
How?
necessarily.
Okay.
Raj, it is
So
not necessary. If it is a manufacturing department, then definitely the one who is responsible for manufacturing, he will do the planning. But we are not saying MRP is only used for manufacturing companies. Yes, most of the time it is very critical for the manufacturing companies, but let's take an example of a distribution company now. And that is the reason we have included this topic, even SAP has included this topic in MM and SD also, because it is not restricted to PP. Although in PP there are lot of advanced things that you need to do in MRP, but from the MM and SD point of view, it is all about availability check and ensuring that the right material is available. So coming to your question, if it is a distribution company where you are buying the material and you are selling, and your MRP is based on, let's say, reorder point planning, in that case, anyone from the stores department also can execute the MRP, or even normally, even this is not a manual activity which is done by the user. What we normally do is we schedule it during the nights. MRP run is normally scheduled during the nights every day, so that it automatically triggers the requirement and it automatically generates the PRs for the material which is required.
Okay, so we run a batch job in the night and then PO is generated, PR is request is generated.
Yes. Yes. In case of external procurement, PR is generated. In case of in-house production, planned order is generated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have one question.
Yes, sir.
If for this material, for when we executed the MRP run, for in this case, a planned order was generated. Okay, but in MD01, there is also checkbox called create purchase requisition. So where it was selected as 2, which is I think for create purchase requisition in open period, but still a planned order got created. So that checkbox is.
Yeah, sorry. For in-house production, it is always the planned order. Let me show you MD01. Yes, what is your question here? This one?
If you see this one. So 2 basically is purchase requisition in open period.
Yeah, let's try to understand this. This is only relevant for purchase requisition. It has nothing to do with the planned order. See, for materials procured externally, this is specifically for those materials where the materials are procured from outside. This particular config or this particular field will not come into picture when you are actually manufacturing in-house.
Even if we select 2, 3, doesn't matter.
No, 2, 3 have a different purpose, but it all, irrespective of whether you are selecting 1, 2, or 3, this is not relevant to the external procurement. Sorry, this is not relevant to the in-house production. It is only relevant to external procurement. Let's try to understand. Let me show you this example. See, what is happening is for materials procured externally, this is only for externally procured materials. This indicator controls whether the system, number 1, creates the purchase requisition for the total planning horizon. Okay, I'll tell you what is total planning horizon. Creates the planned order for the total planning horizon, which are manually converted into purchase requisition at the later date, and create the purchase requisition within the opening period and planned order outside the opening period. See, what will happen here is I can specify the planning horizon. Now, what do you mean by planning horizon? Just now I executed the MRP run. Okay, I executed the MRP run in front of you. For how long planning has taken place? Let's assume I have a sales order where the delivery needs to be done in 2021. Will the system consider that in my MRP planning? I need to deliver the material only after 6 months. Should I include that in my MRP run or not?
No, not now, not as on today. No.
It is not about not or yes. It totally depends upon the business requirements. Business may say yes. Why not? I want to include all those material requirements which are there for next 1 year. So that will be decided by the business. Business will decide whenever you are executing the MRP, whether your planning horizon is 1 month, 2 months, 10 months, or 1 year. So normally business decides the planning horizon. They decide how much time are you going to consider to perform the planning. So based on the planning horizon, there are 3 options here. If you see, number 1 is if you say 1, then for all external procurement, system will just create a purchase requisition. Whenever there is any shortage of material and if this material needs to be procured from outside, system will always create a purchase requisition. Second is purchase requisition in open period, which means whenever you execute the MRP, if the delivery date is within horizon, system will create a purchase requisition. If the delivery date is outside horizon, for example, my horizon is 3 months. So whatever requirement I got for next 3 months, I will create a purchase requisition. Whatever requirement I got for more than 3 months, after 3 months, for that I will ask the system to create a planned order. Or the third option is don't create a purchase requisition at all. You are telling the system only to create a planned order. Even for external procurement, system will just create a planned order and then that planned order can be converted to purchase requisition. So these are the 3 options, but all these 3 are relevant to external procurement only. Saurabh, is it clear?
Okay.
Others?
Okay.
For this planned order, Vikram, say for example, if I run MRP and we do a plan order, do we get a cash flow integration so that I know that 100 units are produced and this much is the additional cash flow I need for the month? Can you have integration on that?
Yes. If you are using cash management component of SAP, which is outside FI, which is part of FSCM module, if you are using that, yes. Even when you create a PR, when you create a sales order, if you want to consider those cash flows also, those can be considered in that report.
Okay, so it's tightly integrated anyway. Okay, thanks.
Yes, it is integrated. Okay, there are a lot of other options, but I will tell you later on because there are a lot of functionalities out of the ones which are available here, which you will not be using in S4HANA because SAP came up with a new approach in SAP S4. So let me just explain you one by one some of the important fields here. You don't need to worry about all the fields. Number 1 is scope of planning. See, as I told you, when you are executing MD01, in MD01, system is only giving you the option to plan at the plant level. Now, what if I want to plan only 10 materials out of 100 materials that are available in my plant? In that case, there is something called a scope of planning. It is a configuration object. I have to create a scope of planning by providing some code, and I will tell the system that if I'm selecting the scope of planning, I want to plan only these 10 materials. Okay, that is the reason SAP has provided the scope of planning if you want to restrict the number of materials for a particular plant. Okay, but if you keep it blank, then you are telling the system, I want to plan all the materials for this plant. Then you have processing key. Okay, what is processing key? There are multiple options here. There are 2 options. I just now told you about planning horizon. Can you just repeat what is planning horizon with example? What do you mean by planning horizon?
Basically, the time period.
Planning time period.
The time period for which you want to consider in the planning run. So if I tell the system I want to plan for next 2 months, I don't want to unnecessarily plan for after 2 months, right? I will plan it when the time will come, right? So there are 2 options here. One option will allow you to perform the planning for without specifying the limit. Second option will only consider the plan. Second option will only consider the planning for that planning horizon. So you can see first one is net change in the total horizon. So this will consider total horizon. It will not consider your planning horizon. It will consider whatever material requirements are there without considering a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever you specified in the planning horizon. Second option is this one, which is regenerative planning. Okay, although this have been changed completely compared to ECC, there is a change here. I will talk about that. Regenerative planning means you don't want to plan for, see, normally there are again two types of planning here. Let me first give you these scenarios in PPT so that you can understand. If you go to ECC, okay, I'm talking about which field? I'm talking about this field, which is processing key. If you go to ECC, there are three types of processing keys. Number one is planning for particular horizon. Number two, planning for total horizon. And number three is regenerative planning. This is normally called as, if you see the description, net change. Okay, what do you mean by net change? You can see net change in the horizon. Let me enter here. This is net change. Even this was net change. Now, what do you mean by net change? Let me take an example. So on today we are on 17th, right? 16th of October, already planned all the materials in the plant. Okay, let's assume there were 1000 materials. So yesterday itself, I have performed the planning for all the 1000 materials. I have verified for each and every material how much is the demand, how much is the stock, how much is the plant receipt, and accordingly I have identified the shortages. Again on 17th of October, I am performing the plan. Do you feel that all the 1000 materials to be planned once again? Because yesterday onwards, okay, after I performed the plan, there were only 20 materials where there is material movement. Rest 980 materials were not touched at all. There was no sales order, there was no stock movement, there was no plant receipt. I have not created any PO, any PR, any sales order, nothing. So do you think this 980 materials again needs to be planned today also? Or I can skip it? Because the situation has not changed. Situation is as it is, as it was yesterday. What do you think? Should I plan for all 1000 materials or only plan 20 materials?
We can skip those.
Only 20, right?
Yes.
So that is the reason it is called as net change. When I say net change, it will only plan those materials where there is a change compared to the last execution. If I already planned MRP maybe last night, maybe last week, maybe last month, but after that there is no change at all, the materials, there is no PO, no sales order, nothing, then why should I plan it once again? That is the reason I can go with net change planning. Okay, but when I say regenerative planning, the name itself, you can see regenerate. So even if it is already planned, I want to regenerate it. That is a basic difference. Out of which, as I told you in S4 HANA, this is no more available. Planning horizon is not available in S4. So now we are only left with two options. Either you planned only the net changes or you perform the whole planning once again. These are the only two options. So whenever you are executing the MRP run, there are only two options. Option number one, you perform the planning for only those materials where there is a change compared to the last run, or you plan for all the materials using regenerative plan. These are the only two options available. Clear?
Yes, Vikram.
Okay. Apart from this scheduling lines, this is mainly related to production. This has nothing to do with MM and SD. This is completely related to production. Next one is create the MRP list. Okay, what is MRP list? Once you execute the MRP, I've shown you if you want to see the result, where we should go? We should go to transaction MD04, which is stock requirement list. In addition to stock requirement list, there is a transaction MD05, which is called as MRP list. Okay, the only difference between MRP list and stock requirement list, you can see it is same. The only difference between MRP list and stock requirement list is MRP list is static. Static means when you executed the MRP, whatever were the results, they will appear here. Okay, so when we executed the MRP, that there was a shortage of 10 units. If I take you to the stock requirement list is dynamic, which means after this position, if I create another sales order, that sales order will appear here. Even if I don't execute the MRP run, then also I'll be able to see my stock requirement list immediately, because this is a dynamic list. Whatever changes you are doing to this material, if you are buying anything, selling anything, everything will appear, and it will, at any point in time, it will show you what is the current position. MRP list will show you the position at the time when MRP was executed. Stock requirement list will show you the position at the current stage when you are executing the stock requirement list, whenever you are going to this report. That is the basic difference between MRP list and stock requirement list. So what system is asking you here is, I think I closed it, so I need to go to MD01 once again. So here system is asking you whether the MRP list should be created or not. So second is, if you don't want to create the MRP list, then you click on no MRP list. If you want to create the MRP list, you will be selecting one. And second option is depending on the exception messages. So you can tell the system, if there is an exception message, then only I want to create the MRP list. Otherwise, I don't want to create the MRP list. But MRP list is not that much important. More important is stock requirement list, which is a dynamic list. And even in S4 HANA, SAP came up with the new functionality I will introduce shortly. In that one, MRP list is not at all created, only stock requirement list is created. Okay. Planning mode is no more relevant. Scheduling again is relevant to PP module. Okay, I think these are the important fields. And then you have this parallel processing and display material list. Parallel processing, this is a functionality only available in HANA database. Okay, this is technical. As a functional consultant, we don't need to worry. Parallel processing means multiple activities will be performed in parallel in the background, which will ultimately save us the time. If I click on parallel processing from the functional side, you understand that my MRP process, my MRP run will be executed faster compared to if I don't click on this. So if I'm saying the system that I want to do the parallel processing, system will take less time to plan this material for me. If I untick this, then it will take the usual time, which will be definitely more time than the parallel processing. And last one is display the material list. Once I execute this, if you want the system to show you the list of materials which are planned, then you can click on this indicator. Okay, these are just for the information. So let me create another sales order and see what happens. So if I go to VA01 once again, I create another sales order for the same material. Okay, let's say this time I want to give the order of 30 units. Press enter. Okay, system will ask you the price. Let me enter the price. So I'll go to this condition and I will enter some condition here. Okay, so this is my price, and let's try to do the availability check now. So if I click on the item availability check, you can see system is still able to confirm the order quantity on 19th. Why it is confirming on 19th? Customer has requested for 17th, but system is proposing 19th. What is the reason? This we have seen previously also in SD. Because
I think
Weekend
factory
right?
calendar.
Saturday, Sunday.
exactly 17th and 18th are my weekly offs, and our team is not working on those days, so definitely our team will not be able to deliver this material on 17th, 18th. That is the reason system is considering the next working day. Okay, so system is confirming the quantity because as of now we have still not told the system how much time it will take to receive the material, and system is assuming that the material will be available as and when we need. Okay, so now if I go to MD01 once again, and instead of planning one material, if I perform the planning for multiple materials, okay, so if I press enter, system will maybe first let me go back. I want to show you one more thing. So MD01, I'm selecting on this parallel processing and I'm selecting on this display material list. And I want to plan for all the materials together. I'm doing the net change planning. Okay, what it will help me is the planning that I already carried out for my last material. If there is no change, then the planning will not be carried out again. But in my case, I made a change, right? We have made the change. There is a new sales order in place, so the demand has been changed. Let me press enter. If you are getting this warning message, just click another enter till the time you are getting the warning messages. To start the planning run, press enter and press enter. Okay, so this is something technical, but you can see these are the materials which are planned. Because I ticked on display the material list, it is showing me these are the different materials which are planned on this particular plant. So there are total 7 materials planned. You can see materials with new exceptions are 5. I think these are those materials where there is no change. There is a change only in 2 materials. System has created the purchase requisition for 2. System has created the scheduling lines for 3. So this is just, sorry, no. This is the parameters. So create purchase requisition, we have selected 2. Scheduling lines for 3. I mean, this settings it is just showing. Okay, now MRP has been carried out. So if I go to MD04 to see the stock requirement list for this particular material, okay, you can see there is a shortage of 30, there is a shortage of 10. So overall, it should be 40. There is a shortage of 40 units. Okay, because of this STPO, currently it is not considering, but otherwise it will show you the shortage of 30 plus 10 equal to 40 units. Okay, so system is showing you that there is a shortage of 40 units in this case. Okay, if you see the MRP list, which is MD05, it will show you the same results, but only difference is this is static and that is dynamic. That is the only difference. Okay, same way, if I want to plan for single material, I will use transaction MD02. MD02 will allow me to plan single material at a time. Okay, in MD02 there is another functionality called as MRP area. This MRP area also is like the scope of planning. Only difference is there are 3 types of MRP areas. Let me also explain you this one. What are the MRP areas? So option number 1 is you plan at the, if you use MD01, materials are planned at what level?
Plant.
At the plant level. If we want to restrict the materials, what we can do? we can make the use of in MD01. What was that? In MD01, scope of planning. I can go to MD01 and I can make the use of scope of planning to reduce the number of materials, to restrict the materials. We can use scope of planning. Similarly, we can make the use of MRP areas to restrict the planning to certain enterprise objects. What are these enterprise objects? Number one, I can do the planning at the storage location. So if in a plant, I can have multiple storage locations, right? I have a plant in which I have 10 different storage locations. If I use MD01, what will happen? All 10 storage locations will be planned together. Okay. If I want to plan only for a particular storage location, then I can create a MRP area for that storage location. Number two, I can use the MRP area to perform the planning for a particular subcontractor. So there are multiple different materials available in the plant, but I only want to plan those materials which I need to send to one of the subcontractors. So there can be subcontractor level MRP. Okay, and the third one, there are three types of MRP areas. Let me show you in the system. So if you go to SPRO, IMG, MRP you will be able to see in MM also, and you will be able to see in PP also. In PP you will be able to see advanced features. In the materials management you will be able to see the basic features, mainly demand driven. So materials management, here you can see consumption based planning. Open this, you will be able to see plant parameters, you will be able to see master data. These are all related to MRP. Okay, so go to master data, you'll be able to see MRP areas. In this MRP areas, you'll be able to see the MRP areas for plant, MRP areas for storage location, MRP areas for subcontractor. So if you just open this, you can see MRP area for plant, MRP area for storage location, and MRP area for subcontractor. These are the three options which are available at the plant level. Okay, plant is normal. So even if you use MD01, it is automatically MRP can be planned at that level itself. But if you want multiple plants to be planned, you can include them in one MRP area. So how to create an MRP area? Simply you can come here and you can tell the system that I want to plan the MRP. You can see here, these are the different MRP areas. So if I want to create a new MRP area, let's say RC01-1. What is the MRP area type? So it is asking you whether it is a plant level MRP, storage location MRP, or a supplier MRP. I'll say plant. Okay, for which plant? Okay, so for which plant I want to do this for RC01. Okay, and then you have to come here and you have to specify for which plant you have created this MRP. Same way, if you are creating the MRP area for the storage location level, you will be able to enter multiple storage locations under this MRP area. So ultimate purpose of MRP areas, plant MRP area and plant, okay, this code should be same. Already exists because system automatically creates the MRP for the standard plant. So you'll be able to already see RC01. Normally we don't create at the plant level. Normally we use MRP areas only when you want to restrict for a particular storage location or you want to create for a particular subcontract. Okay, so in short, in MD02 transaction, in addition to material and plant, you are able to specify the MRP area also. So normally you will be using this whenever you want to send this material to the subcontractor, or you want to plan this MRP for this material only for a particular storage location. All other things you are seeing same: processing key, purchase requisition, MRP list, planning mode, and scheduling. Okay, otherwise it is same, only difference is you can plan for a single material. Okay, now coming to, okay, first of all, any questions till now before I introduce a new functionality which is introduced in S4HANA called as MRP Lab, which is a better version of the MRP that we were using from ES.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Kishan, sorry.
Sir, means till now all the configuration related for MM only, right? So means
configurations are all relevant to MM. From SD point of view, there are 2-3 things which will come later. During MRP, or MRP configurations are, as I told you, if you are working in the manufacturing company, then all these configurations will be done by your PP consultant. If you are working in the distribution company, hardly any configuration is required, but if required, that would be done by MM. From SD side, it is all about availability checks. I shown you 01 and 02, which we entered in the material master. So that configuration is important. The availability checks. Again, those are provided by SAP. If you want to use standard, then there is no need to do any configuration. But yes, you should understand the overall flow, how exactly system is performing the availability check.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on MRP? So just a recap what we discussed. MRP is one of the most important feature which is required for the companies who are dealing in the materials. If you have thousands, 10,000, million, billions of materials, very much possible. Take example of the big manufacturing companies who are having lot of different product lines. Within each and every product lines, they are manufacturing multiple finished goods. For each and every finished good, they need a lot of raw materials. Then definitely it is not possible to manually track each and every material in the Excel and identify if there are any shortages or not. So SAP is one of the most important, SAP MRP is one of the most important feature which will definitely help such companies. Okay, and how MRP works? MRP is a tool you can execute using transaction MD01, MD02, and MD03 also. There are 3 transactions in ECC. Using these 3 transactions, you can perform the MRP run, which will go and first of all look at the demand for each and every material which are available in the plant. So for example, if I'm going for MD01, and let's assume in my scope of planning, I provided 10 materials. So what will happen for each and every material, system will first get the list of all the demands. Once the demands are available, system will check how much is available in the stock. Once the stock situation is available, system will check how much is planned receipt. And based on that calculation, system will tell you how much is the shortage. So how much material is required in order to deliver to the customer. Okay, that is something which is a calculation which is happening for MRP in background. Okay, in order to execute MRP, we can come to transaction MD01. We can enter the plant, okay, and other things based on our criteria that we want to provide. System will perform the calculation in the background, and we will be able to see the results in MD04 or MD05. Okay, and whatever shortages are there, if we configure the system in that way, what system will do? If that shortage is related to the external procurement, system will automatically create a PR. If a shortage is related to in-house production, system will automatically create the planned orders, which can be converted to production orders. PRs can be converted to purchase orders. Okay, so that is the overall process of MRP. Now, let's try to make it complicated. What are the problems in MRP? Okay, or what are the challenges of MRP in ECC system. Challenge number 1 is performance. System becomes slow. This is known issue when MRP is executed in background. Okay, system becomes too slow when MRP is executed in the background. MRP execution can take some hours. It is very much possible in some of the companies. We have seen that maybe 8 to 10 hours, even 8 to 10 hours can be taken to perform the MRP run if those many number of materials are available in the plant. Okay, so if 8 to 10 hours if the system is executing the MRP, then definitely during that time my system will become slow, and that is the reason what happens is, due to which normally MRP executions are scheduled to take place during off hours, off office hours. What are those office hours? Normally during the nights. What is the problem with this? The problem is MRP results are not in real time, because whatever MRP results I am able to see, and that is the reason stock requirement list is available. So even if the MRP execution has taken place last night, if I want to see the situation now, it's already, let's assume, 4 o'clock in a day, and already I have done a lot of transactions today, and I want to know what is current position. I don't want to see the position of the last night. I want to see what is the position currently. Then it becomes difficult to get it from the MRP list. So stock requirement list, I can get it. So MRP results are not in real time. It is not like at any point in time I want to see what is the status of my material requirement. I cannot do that because MRP executions are normally recommended only during the nights. Another important thing, plant restriction or multiple plants. If you take this example, can I enter multiple plants here? Can I perform the planning for multiple plants? MD01, MD02, MD03, if I try anything, can I do multiple plants together? It is only allowing me single plant at a time, right? So why it is not allowing multiple plants? Can you give me the logical reason? Looking at these challenges, we already highlighted those challenges. What do you think? What would be the problem? Why it is not allowing multiple plants?
So storage location?
No. My question is, at the plant level, system is not allowing. Storage location level it is allowing. Na? If you create MRP areas, or if you if you create the MRP areas and include multiple storage locations into it, system will allow you. But for multiple plants, is it possible to execute the MRP?
It's not there. The screen doesn't have a variant itself for having the range. The program, I don't know. I have to see the background program, but technically it's not possible. Your screen is not capable of doing it.
Background, looking at this program, maybe background we can do anything, but in the
But
foreground,
the plan doesn't have a variant, right? The range. See, I can't give RC01 and RC02 in a range itself. From and to is not there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what is happening is, I don't have the option to plan the material for multiple plants together. Okay, so I can plan only for one plant at a time. And there is a logical reason. We have written the performance issues, it becomes too slow. If I give the task of 10 plants at a time, it will even become slow.
Processing thread also might not be there, Vikram, because see, if you click on parallel processing, your dialog processor might eat up. There are a lot of technical constraints looks like with this program.
No, see, parallel processing, when you are including parallel processing, this is only possible in HANA starting from 2013. Previously, even parallel processing was not available. And that is the reason there were a lot of performance issues, and due to which it was not logical to allow multiple plants at the same time. Okay, so we know the reason, but we know there was a restriction. So MRP cannot be planned for multiple plants. Can I plan for multiple materials? Yes, possible, but unnecessarily I was to configure the what was that scope of planning. So even it was not very straightforward to plan for multiple materials at the time. Right? So in short, instead of saying MRP cannot be planned for multiple plants, this is fine. But next point I can add is too complex selection criteria. Right? My selection criteria will become too complex. Just give me a minute. Sorry. So I was saying that it is too complex to enter the selection criteria, because what I need to enter unnecessarily, I need to enter scope of planning, which is a configuration object. I need to create the scope of planning. I need to include the list of materials. If I want to remove the list of materials, again I need to go to the scope of planning. So it is not very straightforward to enter multiple materials. Right? And that is the reason, even this selection criteria, it is asking everything from me, whether to create a purchase requisition, whether to create a scheduling line, whether to create an MRP list. It is asking everything from the user. It is not applying its own logic. It is asking everything from the user. And that is the reason the screen is too complex. The user,
Vikram, is there BOM? Can we do on BOM also in this one, bill of material?
see, BOM is when you are using MD01, sorry, MD02. In MD02, it consists of multi-level, which means not only you are planning for single material, but you are planning single material at multiple level. So for example, if you are planning for a computer, system will automatically identify which are the raw materials required, and even for those raw materials, system will be doing the planning.
Okay, so BOM comes under the MD02 in the current ECC. Okay.
Right. It will automatically come in the picture based on the finished material that you are entering. If you are entering the raw material, there is no question of BOM. If you are entering the semi-finished good or the finished good, then system will not only consider the finished product, it will also consider the raw material requirements, and the planning will be carried out for all the materials at once. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is, it was asking a lot of questions to you rather than doing all the things on its own. System was asking a lot of questions to you. And that is the reason now, in order to overcome these challenges, okay, so the complex selection criteria, the speed, the performance issues, and you were not able to provide the multiple plants, these were all the challenges of MRP in ECC, and that is the reason SAP now came up with something called as MRP Live. This is a new functionality which is only available starting 2015. Okay, so I'm not saying this MRP Live is only available in SAP S/4HANA. MRP Live can be used in ECC also, but with HANA database. If you have HANA database, then only MRP Live will work. Otherwise, you will not be able to use MRP Live functionality. What is MRP Live? So MRP Live is nothing but the answer to all these challenges. Whatever challenges we were facing in the old MRP, those challenges are now resolved with MRP Live. So maybe I'll take point by point, I'll copy this, and I'll talk about how it has been simplified. If I talk about MRP Live, performance issues, MRP Live uses HANA capabilities in background. Okay, so I think this point is enough. MRP live uses HANA capabilities in background and performance has been improved. So definitely there is a strong improvement in the performance. Previously, MRP execution can take some hours. This was the problem with old MRP. MRP live can be performed within few minutes. Okay, so from 8 to 10 hours to, I think now it totally depends upon a lot of other factors also. But whatever SAP claims, wherever SAP has written, it can come down to few minutes. So from 8 to 10 hours, even not 1 hour, less than 1 hour is what SAP is promising. Okay, within few minutes. Now, due to which normally MRP executions are scheduled to take place during the off business hours, MRP live can be executed anytime. Okay, MRP results are not in real time. This is also not true. MRP live is real time, so MRP live can be executed anytime, which means the results are real time, which gives real time results. MRP cannot be planned for multiple plants. MRP live provides flexible selection criteria. So you can enter whatever selection criteria you want. Multiple plants, multiple materials, everything MRP live provides. Two complex selection criteria, I think I answered with this one. So MRP live, same thing. Provides a better selection criteria. Let me show you what exactly is MRP live in the system. So there is a new transaction, single transaction. Earlier there were 3 different transactions, MD01 for all the materials in the plant, MD02 for one plant, multi-level, and MD03 for one material, one level. Okay, but now a new transaction is MD01N. This is a new transaction, single transaction. Just go to MD01N, you can see MRP live functionality. You can enter the range of plants, multiple plants by using this multiple selection. You can enter multiple materials. There are additional features, product group if you have maintained in the material master. Even MRP controller. Who is MRP controller? MRP controller is the person who is responsible to run the MRP for specific set of materials. Right? So let's assume in my company there are 10 MRP controllers. All these MRP controllers have their own responsibility of a particular set of materials. So I can tell, okay, I want to do the planning only for a particular MRP controller. That is also possible. In material scope, you can specify whether you want to do the material planning only for those materials which are procured from outside, or you want to do both, or even MPS is normally used in the other industries. It is kind of a recipe and other industries. Even you can carry out that also. But normally, we normally go for A, which means we include all the materials together. Okay. Whether you want to do multiple level, whether you want to consider the stock transfers, whether you want to consider the BOM materials, whether you want to consider the changed BOM components, if you tick on these indicators, the material will not be planned only at the main level, but even the subcomponents will be considered. Same thing what we have seen in case of MD02. Okay. By default, system performs which planning? Net change planning by default. If 1000 materials are available and there is no change in 980, unnecessarily system will not do the run for all the 990 line items. It will only perform the MRP run for those 20 materials where there is a change. But if you want, similar to NUPL processing key, you can click on regenerative planning here and the system will be performing the material planning for all the materials. Okay, irrespective of whether there was a change or not compared to the last run. Okay, and even in the planning mode, this is the table level. So normally we, if I want to adopt the planning data, whatever planning data was saved previously in the table. If I want to take that, I can go with this, which is recommended approach. If I want to delete the original data, previous data from the table and to recreate the new planning results, then I can go with delete and recreate the planning data. Okay, which is normally this is recommended one. Adopt the planning data.
Here, when I delete the previous run and then recreate means, then like it may take the longer time period, isn't it?
See, it will definitely take longer time period, but not like the old one, not like the old MRP functionality. Because old MRP functionality was too complex in the background. There were a lot of codes written, each and every material was being planned one by one. That was the reason it was taking a lot of time. Now with parallel processing, hundreds, thousands of materials are planned at once. Okay, which means even if I recreate it, it will take few extra minutes. It will not take few extra hours.
Okay, life will be easy for MRP controller.
Definitely, yes. This is one of the biggest benefit why customers are preferring to go for S4HANA, because there are many manufacturing companies who are struggling with the MRP results. This will be definitely one of the key points why customers are going for S4HANA in the manufacturing group. Okay, from the logistics point of view, I will say this is the biggest benefit. Okay, even after this also. So for example, I am doing regenerative planning because I already have done the MRP run using the old method. So both are available. Even in S4HANA, you can use the old way, you can do the normal MD01, or you can use MD01N, which is MRP lab. Both the functionalities are available. There are differences in the functionalities we will talk about, due to which SAP has provided this option, so that SAP has not completely removed the MRP, because there are some old functionalities which are not supported in MRP live. So if the customers are using those old functionalities, then there is no other option. They have to use the old MRP. Okay, but SAP is recommending that get rid of those old functions and start using MRP live for each and every plant, each and every material. Okay, it is taking time.
I have a offbeat question, like between MRP and this demand management. Can I ask you, like this APO and other things, demand management, SNOP, we are feeding the sales data regularly and then getting the demand and planning according to that to improve our sales, especially when you consider the seasonal goods like 6 months, 4 months, and my procurement of materials, other things taking long time, like seasonally. So why this APO and demand management being used, like when we have a MRP live, which can be pulled out and used accordingly? Like this is a generic question, like nothing related to MRP or this one.
No, I got your point. See, what happens is MRP is a very good functionality which is available in SAP. But again, you know that there are a lot of new things which are coming up, and due to which there are some advanced scenarios required in MRP. See what MRP is doing. MRP is just considering what? It is just considering what is your total demand minus what is your stock minus what is your planned receipts for this period. It is performing the calculation. But now this is based on the demand-based planning. Sorry, this is based on the sales orders that you have entered in the system. But let's take your example. You gave the example that you want to do the planning for next 6 months based on what you are forecasting, right?
Yes.
So this forecasting results, they are normally created in advanced planning tool called as APU. In SAP, we cannot do the forecasting based on the previous data, based on various different factors. We don't have this functionality available in the core SAP system. In SAP system, we can perform all the calculations outside, and then we can maintain these values in plant independent requirements, as I told you. So I can come here and I can maintain, somewhere I have written here, plant independent requirements, this one.
Right.
So the same independent requirements I can maintain in SAP, but I cannot calculate these requirements in the SAP core system. I don't have any tool to perform the forecasting. So if I want to do this forecasting, it is possible in APO module, which is a separate tool altogether.
Right.
So what normally we do, planning and all, we carry out in APO, and then the data is transferred from APO to S4 core as a plan independent requirement.
Okay.
Okay, but what is happening currently is even SAP is trying to bring the features from APO into the core system. There are already many features which are not there in the core system in ECC, but now which are part of SAP S4HANA as a core system.
Okay.
Okay, we will talk about those features also, but forecasting still remains in APO.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to show you, so I'll delete and recreate the data. Let me execute this. So system will perform the MRP run. Okay, since we are executing it for the first time, it may take, it is compiling. But otherwise, if you are planning thousands, many materials at the same time, comparatively, it will be just in minutes. It will show you the result here itself. Stock requirement list will be available. It will also show you which materials are planned. So you can see this is called as a performance log. Okay, in the performance log, it is showing us name of the performance log, start date, start time, end date, end time, how much total time it took. It took 36 seconds. Which user has executed the MRP, which materials, how many materials are planned, how many materials are planned using old logic, and how many materials are planned using new logic. So we are using MRP as new logic. Okay, and then if you click on stock requirement list, it will give the same MD04 screen. So if I double click on this, see, it is showing me 30 and 10. Same results, but only thing the way of calculation is different. My screen is very simple, flexible selection criteria. I can select multiple plants, I can select multiple materials, and at the same time, the performance issues which were taking a lot of time in the background, that is not required anymore. And ultimately, you are not dependent on the results which are executed on the nights. You can perform these executions anytime you want. Okay, so this is MRP lab. Otherwise, the functionality remains same. In the background, what is happening is multiple materials are being planned together. Instead of planning single material, MRP lab is taking parallel processing and it is performing the material planning for multiple materials at the same time. Okay, any questions? I prefer I have a video on YouTube which is on complete difference between the old MRP and new MRP, comparing the MRP, normal MRP with MRP live. But that is too technical. Normally, it is only recommended for someone who already has worked on MRP from more than 5-6 years. Okay, but if you still want to go through it, you can go through it. It is not necessary, but if you still feel that I want to know advanced details of MRP live, you can go through it. But it is never, as a beginner, nobody is going to ask you those MRP live relevant settings in the background. Okay, but it is just for your understanding purpose. If you want to go for it, you can.
Vikram, it's in your channel?
Yeah, it's on my channel. I will send you the link. Let me see, which is, just give me a minute. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please go ahead. I will just find out that video and send the link.
Sir, I have a question in pricing actually. May I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, in condition type, we don't have any GST condition, so we have to create or something, or how can we manage the GST, sir?
No, the GST we have still not discussed. Taxation part we are about to discuss. We will have a common session for taxes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Don't
because
worry.
I thought we have to be create for the particular as we create a PR00 and mention our condition type. So I think we have to do that, but there is something else, sir, in GST, right? Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
We can, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, my laptop got disconnected due to battery issue. So I will send you the link on the mail, the video that I was talking about. But Tushar, I was answering your question. So the taxation related things we are about to discuss. You will get that idea.
Okay.
Vikram, I had a question on RFQ, Vikram.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Vikram. So actually, I tried to create an RFQ, and while I'm trying to do the price comparison, I'm not able to actually pull up the details from the price comparison screen. It shows no purchase, no changes or something. Would you be able to check?
Can you send me the screenshots, Vivek? I
Uh,
think same issue, Raj, you were also facing. You solved it, right?
No, I haven't solved it, Vikram. I think the whole process itself has got an issue now because if you can create, I think you have logged out of the system, is it, Vikram? If you have
Yeah,
logged out,
currently
then
I'm out of the system.
okay, tomorrow we'll have a look at it. See, not even this one, even a PR, if you create, the workflow is kicking in and, nothing can be done till the workflow is cleared. I don't know whether once you activate the workflow and deactivate it, I don't understand the concept, but you might have to just show us how it is working because not only price comparison, even the PO can't be released. For me, at
Okay.
least. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
same
problem.
issue,
Let me.
even with the scheduling agreement, some problem. Even when the scheduling agreement type is LP, it is not. It is telling it's an approval is required. I'm not sure why that happens.
Okay. Let me do one thing. Tomorrow we will start with those topics itself. Then we will continue with other topics.
No problem.
Okay, Vikram.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, Chalo. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vikram. Bye.
So will it be a combined session?
Tomorrow, let me think what exactly, because we are still left with some MRP related things. We will have a combined session, but it will not take more than 1 hour. After that session, we will just have the normal discussion on Q&A, and then next week onwards, we will have the different sessions.
Thank
Vikram,
you.
if you could just upload the video for the session on 3rd, it will be helpful for me.
Yes, I'll do that.
Thanks. Vikram.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.